Kill him.
My turn.
Alright guys, BBird here again with another battle. This is the second rematch against Alice. Let's see how I go. She decided to bring a different team this time apparently, because she thought she'd do better this way. But you know, that's fine by me. I knew the fake out wasn't going to work, so I used sub, predicting like a U-turn or something, or a switch. And she does U-turn, and it's not very effective, so it doesn't break the sub. This is Beast in the Harlot by Avenged Sevenfold, by the way. Great song. I listened to it a lot, like a couple of years back when I was like really into the metal stuff. But yeah, so she sends out Septile, gets a Swords Dance off, and I decided to stay in since I got the sub up. But I decided that with the Swords Dance, since my physical wall is a ground type, which means it's going to get a stab Swords Dance boost, like Leaf Blade on it, it's not worth staying in on. So I thought I should put it to sleep and just eliminate the threat altogether. But she switches, and I decided to set up a sub again, predicting that switch. And she goes to Wheezing, which is an odd choice. Maybe she thought she was going to survive or do something about that. Or maybe she was using it as death fodder. But either way, I get the sub up again and start attacking. And it's going pretty well for me so far. If I take out a physical wall, it means I'll have a very strong upper hand. But she withdraws it again and goes out to her Gyarados. And at this point I notice that all of her Pokemon so far are shiny. And I predict the switch again, and I go for the sub, because I thought if I don't, maybe she'll get a Will-O-Wisp off, maybe she'll, you know, get Pain Split, I don't know, something like that. And she Dragon Dances, and I thought I should be faster, and I got the Special Defense drop, which really helped me out. But I don't know how much difference it would have made in the end anyway, but you know, what can you do? So I Shadow Ball again, and I take it out, and that's great, that's really good. It means it's one less perk to worry about. So she brings out her Metagross, and I'm kind of stuck for ideas with this. I've used my sleep, so I can't just put it to sleep. So I decided to go to Gyarados, predicting like either a Bullet Punch or a Meteor Mash. She does Meteor Mash, which is great, but it does almost half, which is a lot of damage. So I decided to Earthquake, even though I knew that she had the Wheezing still. I thought maybe it was worth trying it anyway, because she's actually not too big on switching. If you remember last time we battled, she complained a lot about me switching, so I thought maybe it was worth a try. And either way, now she's going for the Pain Split, and I switched out to Claydol. The reason being that Will-O-Wisp is going to do nothing, Pain Split is going to do nothing, Flamethrower, as you can see, did nothing, and Thunderbolt's immune to anyway. So I could sit here all day, and I was more than happy to do that. Let her just Pain Split off, do whatever she wants. She used Thunderbolt, predicting the switch back, and I managed to get up my rocks in the meantime. And she Pain Splits, and you know, just the usual stuff. But the fact is, I was sitting pretty at the moment, so I had no reason to switch out, no reason to change anything. So I just keep parrying away at Ice Beam, and eventually I actually get Freeze Hacks, and this was really, in my opinion, insignificant. I mean, all it did. When you battle like this, when you try and stall with Pain Split and Recover and all these kinds of things, you're asking to be haxed. That's the problem. I mean, you can. I know that, you know, the chance doesn't accumulate over time so much, but every time you stall for another turn, you're giving them another chance to get it. So it's just silly to try and do that. Anyway, so she goes to Metagross after I take out the Wheezing, and I go for Earth Power, and it actually did like a third, maybe a little bit more than a third, and that was just ridiculous. I had no idea why it was doing so little, because we've had this exact situation before and it did over half. So I was really confused about that, and this actually comes to light later on, and I'll show you at the end just to make sure we're all clear on this. So I bring in my Gyarados thinking that there's not much she can do, and I go for the Earthquake again, because now that Wheezing's gone it's not much of a threat. So she brings her Ambipom in, and her Ambipom took, like, again, like half, maybe even a bit less. So I was getting really suspicious about this. I thought it would have done a little bit more than that. But anyway, so I switch to Lucario, and she uses Return, which does over half again, and I just don't understand that. Like, it's just 100 base power with Stab. It doesn't get anything else. But anyway, so I knew that next hit was going to take me out, so I decided to endure, get the Salic boost, and I know now I'm going to be faster. So, close combat here. I didn't want to risk the crunch not killing it, because I saw how little the other one did. I just didn't want to take that risk anymore. And she brings out her Metagross, and I knew the Bullet Punch was coming. I thought, well, I could use Lucario later for Death Fodder. So I switch out, go back to Gyarados, and I thought, well, you know, it's no harm done, really. Bullet Punch is just going to get shrugged off. So, and now I thought, this time I can go again with the Earthquake and hopefully take it out. So I Earthquake, and also, again, shiny Metagross. I mean, that's just, you know, ridiculous. And the Earthquake, again, did like half. And she gets the Freeze Hacks. Now here, this Freeze Hacks, in my opinion, was significant. A lot more significant than the other one. The reason being now is that she's getting a lot of turns for leftovers, which is bad for me. And now, in this position before, I would have been able to sweep. So, I'm sort of confused about this. And, you know, it's kind of bad, but at the same time, you know, it wasn't so bad, because I could bring in Dragonite. So, she's got a lot of bulky Pokemon, and they're still kind of fast, and it was been confusing me the whole match. And this is where it showed me exactly what it was. Check this. With the Stealth Rock, I predicted the Swords Dance thinking that I was going to switch. So I Outrage, and look, max attack, Outrage, super effective, with Stab, doesn't take it out. I did the calcs, and it has to have max HP and 252 defense to survive, and even then it's only a 50% chance with Stealth Rock. And I asked her what her EVs were, and she said it was speed and attack. Max speed, max attack, and a little bit in HP. So that tells me she's definitely hacking her Pokemon. So I'm disappointed in that, I gotta say. I really am. I really thought this was going to be a good match, but you know, some people are just like that. So I gotta say, Alice, I'm disappointed in you. I honestly thought you'd be a bit above this, but what are you gonna do, you know? So I guess this is probably gonna be our last battle, because she's probably gonna crack the shits now. But you know, whatever. I'll have another game up for you soon. And until then, you guys stay cool and have a good one.